roundtable discussion on supercharging mobile growth. I think it's pretty clear for everybody here that mobile is either the centerpiece or a very important part of your business strategy. I don't think many of you would, argue with me on that. But what we're really here to understand is that as the landscape changes, everybody comes on mobile. How do you acquire users? How do you keep your mobile users? And how do you really differentiate on the app from an experience point of view? Because I believe BFSI being a regulated industry, innovating is really hard, not impossible. And I think the way it's easier to innovate when it comes to the mode of delivery, the customer experience, and answer being kind of a solution to the customer's problems, right? So before we begin, I just like to everybody to just introduce yourselves. You can share your name, your brand, and also a little bit about your role, because I'm sure we're all aware what your company does, but a little bit if you could talk about your role, I think that would be great. So we'll start from right at this, and we'll go left and right.
Yeah, myself Komal Chheda. I am Executive Vice President at Kashi. I take care of growth, which is the sales. We have personal loans, BNPL, EV, education loans, and I head customer support also.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Avinash.
Okay.
Please, go
Okay.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, carry on.
Okay,
There are no rules. There's no rule.
so my name is Avinash. I am a product head for the free charge DBAT division.
Yeah.
And our major role is basically developing the application for Access Bank, whether it's a mobile banking or internet banking. And it's more on the side of a technical role. So,
Fantastic.
Hi, my name is Neha. I head marketing at Zeppay. Zeppay essentially is a cryptocurrency exchange. It's a D2C platform for investing and to do everything that that is about crypto investing. So I take care of the entire communication, entire to and fro, end-to-end journey of users interacting with the app, and essentially onboarding new users and ensuring that they are to kind of drive ROI from the campaigns.
Just request you to bring these closer to you. You can touch them, feel them, adjust them, all of that. Because I can hear you, but we are also recording, so just for that. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, hi. My name is Varun. I heads 4 division of analytics within L&T Finance. One is marketing analytics, then campaign analytics, digital analytics, and analytics ops. So my primary responsibilities are related to the customer, targeting those customers and identify the better sources to reach out to them.
Okay,
Thank you.
please.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Nilesh Harde. I'm Chief Product Officer at Pay Nearby. Pay Nearby essentially it's a B2B2C company where we partner with local stores, Kirana stores, to dispense banking and financial services to people at the ground level. Specifically, largely we do work in rural part of the country. We have 1.2 million retailers associated with us, and we clock transactions worth 7,500 crores a month.
Fantastic.
Hi, my name is Prashant. I lead app acquisition for Kotak 811, acquiring new user for Kotak 811 platform.
Yes. Okay. Please.
Hi, my name is Nidhi. I just joined 2 days back L&T Finance as a team lead. Under Varun, I'm working. And before that, so for this new role, I have not much to share. But yeah, previously I was with HDFC Life. There I was handling more of a technical role, as in working on the data and working closely with the products team for sharing the data and how we can reach out to maximum customers and make campaigns which can benefit users the most.
Fantastic. One thing about BFSI industry is they tend to keep their own. You don't tend to go in another industry or in another sector. So I think all experience is relevant.
Yeah.
Because we are having an
If you are
industry.
from Mumbai, because
especially if you are-
BFSI is well settled here.
Exactly. So all experience is relevant, right? Yeah. Please.
Hi, I'm Neeti Goyal. I'm from Axis Bank and I take care of the digital marketing and growth specifically for credit cards line of business.
Aniket?
Hi, everyone. My name is Aniket. I'm from Branch. Been working with Branch for about 5 years. I lead the business development here for the APAC region, and I'm really excited to be here. I'm based in Mumbai. I'm one of the few folks at Branch who is in Mumbai. So lovely to be here and meet all of you.
Pratyek?
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Pratyek Patil. I'm a Mumbaikar. Typically look after enterprise sales at Branch. BFSI, one of the main verticals I look after. Would be glad to catch up with you all post in the networking session.
Kavina?
Hi everyone, my name is Ravina. I'm also a part of the Branch team. So Pratyay, Aniket and I, all of us are from Branch. I'm a sales manager. I look after India and South Asia. And very much like Aniket, I'm a veteran, been here for 3.5 years. It's a lot to be in a SaaS company, given that tech is where you jump jobs a lot. But I think we've all decided that Branch is a place to be.
And I'm Varun, and I tend to forget to introduce myself in these things, but I'm from ET Brand Equity. I look at our IP initiatives, and I was a journalist for 6.5 years. So we'll begin this conversation by kind of setting the context of what Branch does and where it specializes in, so that we can have a conversation that is directionally aligned, right? So Kavina, Ravina, I would invite you to share the presentation.
Thank you. Seamlessly into the app, or you would realize that once your users are clicking on links or banners or any sort of posts, instead of users coming into your application, they are being taken through a broken UX of a web page, and their churn rates are really going up, right? It could also be that when you're trying to integrate your CRM, the data is not okay. Despite having so many sorts of tools, the main data around attribution of your app marketing is just not working, right? There is something wrong. There are inaccuracies that you're seeing. This is exactly what we do as a company. This is where Branch comes in. We are a linking provider, a deep linking provider. We have a dynamic linking infrastructure through which we can help you drive your users into the app from any channel that you leverage, which could be channels as simple as your social media channel, where you're just doing organic marketing, putting out posts. Channels like influencers. If you're, for example, I think there's someone from Kotak 811. When Kotak 811 launched, it was an iconic product. A lot of influencers talked about it. So if you're getting influencers to talk about your product, you need to make sure that those influencer campaigns are leading users to the right page. It could also be that you are sending them to a website, but that should be the decision of the marketing team, that where should the link take them. Now, when you're doing all of this marketing campaign, there has to be consolidated measurement data that you can trust, data that resides on one single dashboard for you to go to day in and day out and be able to make decisions about which is the campaign or what is the sort of marketing that is resonating with your users, that is getting them to go to the bottom of the funnel, driving conversions, and then bringing them back again and again, right? So this is a little bit about what Branch does. What we've also done is, in the interest of time, simplified some of the core use cases that marketing teams discuss with us very regularly. So across app adoption, how do we help folks like you that are with us today in the room? We help you drive app adoption if you've got a lot of audience organically coming in on your website, for example. Just a couple of weeks ago, we signed SBI Cards as one of our leading customers in the BFSI space, and their ask was very clear. We've got 18.5 million credit card users in the country, and a lot of them today are coming into the app, let's say to pay off their credit card bills, generally to track transaction statement, but we need to go a little bit ahead. We need to give them a more seamless customer experience, and we want to make sure that this data is residing with us so that we can do further cross-selling and upselling in the campaigns to come. So coming back to how app adoption can happen if you're using QR codes, right? I think a lot of the brands over here today have a good offline presence. So when you have an offline presence, users are, let's say, walking into your branches, or I think an example of Pay Nearby, where retailers are technically the place where your brand keeps getting talked about. How do you use that place or placement to get more retailers to come to your app and become your partners? QR code can be the solution for that, where a retailer scans the QR code. Behind that QR code is a branch-powered link. It converts into a multi-platform link. Pay Nearby can choose to take them to a website, to an app, get them to sign up, take a demo, maybe sign up for a 3-month class. So this is how app adoption happens. In terms of delighting users, we can also help with custom onboarding. A lot of the companies here are from a super regulated environment and would not be able to share, data of users. So I think custom onboarding can happen to a certain extent, and I think we'll talk about the technicalities in just a bit through the roundtable conversation that we're going to have. But this is definitely something that you must discuss with us. We have Harshdeep and Mahua also there, who are going to find you during the networking hour, explaining you how we help with custom onboarding. On the engagement and optimization side, as I shared, anything that you do in terms of marketing can be powered by branch and can be measured by branch. Something as simple as a push notification. If you want to do app-to-app linking, you've got multiple apps. Or if you're doing cross-app promotions, sending user from one app to the other app, that is possible. And then eventually, how do you optimize your campaigns? How do you track each and every single event through your marketing funnel and make the best of all the ad spends that you're doing? What we've also done is just quickly put together some real examples of how our clients globally have been doing this and finding value by investing in a tool like Branch. So this is an example of Hungry Jacks. There are, of course, many fast food chains. Hungry Jacks is a big one in the US. They were one of the first, fast food brands to say, we want to make sure that all of our users start becoming app users, and we want to drive loyalty. So they started pushing out QR codes on their website. Once somebody scans, they can be taken to the Play Store. The app can be downloaded, and then you know the flow. Similar for Easy Diner. Like many years ago, like when Easy Diner did not have such a big user base, they didn't want to consistently keep spending on paid app install. They wanted to, take advantage of the traffic that they already have on their website and get users to the app. Performed really, really well. Same for Reddit. If you would try to go on their desktop, try to log in, they'll always give you a small nudge. Hey, do you want to experience this on the app? Because it's so easy for Reddit then to engage with you consistently through push notifications or other mechanisms. On QR codes, as I mentioned, the Pay Nearby example, again, many examples of leading retail brands across the globe, making sure that every physical property that they have, they're deploying QR codes. They are deploying QR codes at places where people stop, take a look, and they can convert into a download. If they need to incentivize users to get them to download their app, they've tried that. Again, things which are far less costlier than spending on an app install again and again through these leading media networks, where a lot of things are not in your control, right? They decide what the inventory cost is. They decide what the cost per click, cost per acquisition, cost per conversion is. These are things and these are ideas that are something that you all can implement. Another example of how do you tap onto your loyal users and get them to get you more users. So Strava did this really well, where a lot of athletes would go on Strava, create an account, and they would share activities of, hey, I'm doing a run or I'm practicing for the marathon this Sunday. would you like to come? And they would then want to share it with their friends and get them to download the app, sign up for the marathon practice, and then everyone would go together. It became increasingly popular. They also partnered with Nike a few years later and then became big. This is an example of up banking, again using referral programs, using incentives at the right moment, to get users to come and download the app. Very similar example of a rewards program app where influencers are able to share links on SMS. When these links are clicked, when downloads happen, when conversions happen, they can be tracked and you can understand which influencers are performing the best for you and in the long run, working well in terms of ROI. Email to app is also a very, very interesting use case because when you work with ESPs as marketing folks, you lose the ability to deep link your users from email. But we do have integrations with leading email service providers. In fact, KFC is one of our biggest customers globally, uses us effectively for the email to app linking use case, making sure app adoption is happening regularly for their apps across the world. And I think the last one that I have is SEO app attribution. I think in the whole conversation of measurement, the conversation goes only towards paid ads attribution. But there are so many other channels where many, many people from your companies are sitting, investing time, investing resources, figuring how tracking can work cohesively, that their teams should be getting the credit that they are due. But these use cases are not talked about often. And that was the intent of coming in front of you and discussing things other than paid ads, because that is in a way commoditized. Of course, we can talk about it, but there are very straightforward ways of doing attribution through Google, Facebook, and other platforms that we regularly use. And similarly here, as I was mentioning about SEO, all your SEO traffic can be attributed. A simple example of how Sephora does it: they take their users to the website, they would show a banner on the website. It's a small top placed banner, as you'll see on the third screenshot over there. It says Sephora buy makeup and skincare. This banner also is powered by Branch. We call it, you can call it a smart banner, you can call it a web to app banner. These banners can be supported by our platform. They come up, someone can click on it, your users can click on it, and then go into your app. And that app conversion then gets attributed to the SEO traffic that got generated. So this is also something that is possible. And we'll make sure to plug in how you use SEO today. And we really hope that you bring it up yourself as well in the conversation ahead. I'm going to end the use case examples with this one. Mr. Beast, very big American celebrity, started dropping unique branch links that go and click and get amazing rewards. All of these links were unique links and generated by Branch, and we were able to track the entire campaign of Mr. Beast. It was a big campaign for Shopify that they'd done some time ago, but this is also something that is supported by us. And finally, we've got a bunch of brands that trust us today. About 1 lakh apps work with Branch, which means our SDK today sits in 1 lakh apps, making sure every single link that is generated via the branch dashboard or APIs generating it are our links. We solve for broken user experiences. We consolidate all of your marketing and help you take the best marketing decisions. That's a little bit about us.
I'd really like to talk to, I think, Varun first, because as a credit lending player, I think your users to your app is it the centerpiece for you to drive that loan conversion credit conversations, and how are you looking at that mix, like Devika mentioned, of paid and organic? Because I had an experience recently. I typed Myntra on the Play Store. I got Myntra, but I also got the paid ad of Myntra on top, and I don't understand why so many brands bid on their own name to be on top. So if you could highlight.
Okay, so about L&T Finance precisely, see, we are in a mix of a situation right now. So what happens is, I work for digital team, so our dominance is obviously digital because it saves us a lot of money. However, the problem with us is majority of our revenue comes from the places which are tier 3, tier 4 cities. Okay, so our primary customers are villages because we offer micro loan. However, we are there in other categories as well, but that is the biggest piece of chunk that lies there. Okay, so right now on the digital side, our objective has been to service the customer rather than acquire the customer. Okay, because the thing is, we want to save the cost on the call centers as well as the branches. And for example, if there is a farmer, his primary thing that he needs right now is he wants to understand how much of the money he is yet to pay. They are very, very layman type of people, not too educated. Okay, but the thing is, smartphone adoption we can't avoid. If you go to tier 4 city as well, they know what smartphone is. Okay, and that is what our vision is. Now slowly and steadily we have started doing or initiating customer journeys with the help of our app, which is known as a Planet app. So what we do is, we have created separate journeys for each type of loan. However, not all the journeys are 100% because some of them need a physical support at some level of journey. For example, if there is a home loan, we can take the customer to a digital journey to some extent, and then it needs a hand holding. If it's a farmer, he will start or initiate, but again he needs a hand holding. That has been our biggest challenge. Okay, but however, we are able to achieve it a bit. For example, we recently saw that there is a jump in the people's engagement on the app, which are from very, very remote cities. Okay, so I think when we talk about the acquisition, now we are seeing that since the people from even the remotest place, they are getting into smartphones, so they are getting comfortable with the digital medium as well. Okay, so acquisition is slowly and steadily picking it up. However, it is still not there, and we are still working on the journeys because the journey side is something wherein we still, I believe, we need a lot of work, because our journeys specifically are not 100% digital, and we can't go 100% digital right now, but we need to fix that angle, that till what point we can go digital and at what level we need to provide the support. Okay, so that is on the acquisition side, but still the primary area where we are working is to provide the services from the app rather than generating the business. However, on a long term vision, I would say that vision, the business driving is going to be prime necessity, because we have already started taking the targets from the businesses that we will be driving X number of loans from the app itself. Okay, so.
And so to do that, would you then be investing in a lot of digital marketing to acquire those users, or it would still be from your offline branches to funneling them to
to give an exact answer to this is, we have dominantly started working on the digital marketing piece. Okay, reason is, frankly speaking, if I talk about 1 year back, we didn't had any marketing team as such. Okay, the marketing team was there who used to work on the branches, and they used to reach out to the, for example, if it is a two-wheeler loan, they will be doing a branding in the store itself, but there was no digital marketing piece as such. Okay, so recently, since I am a part of marketing analytics, and there is a unit which is marketing team that has been set, so I am aggressively working on this. Okay, so now dominance has started wherein we have aggressively started evolving into digital marketing space. Okay, we just few months back, when this IPL was happening, we started with digital marketing piece with one of the product, which is home loan, and our ads were coming on the IPL, and then people were searching us on the Google. Then we had an app via which we can generate the leads. We had, you might have seen that our ads were there in the at the airport, at the billboards, and we were giving them a download link. You download the app, and that is how journey will start. Okay, and we have seen. So we were recently analyzing the impact of that campaign, and we realized that we are generating huge number of leads from those sources. However, validating them, that's a different challenge, but we are generating huge source of leads. And the people who are organically searching us on Google, they are the primary customers. They are actually taking loans. Okay, but if in case we don't have a smooth transition from if somebody searches on the Google and they don't get our link, okay, then we break the neck over there only. Okay, so that is where we are trying to be aggressive. Ki if in case there is a journey, customer searches for home loan even, and if we are coming there, they should be able to start the journey as such. Okay, because we are going to have that challenge always, because banks are the first preferences. Okay, NBFCs are the preferences that comes in later on. So we can't be, and banks, because I have worked with HDFC Bank earlier. Branches have banks have very smooth journeys. Okay, however, in the space of NBFC, that is still a challenge. So in last few 3 or 4 months, we have started aggressively on the digital marketing side. We tried it with the help of home loan product, and we have just few weeks back, we started the same piece from two-wheeler. Okay, so now there is a lot of setup that is required from the digital side. There is a lot of project management required from the digital side. That is the reason she joined us, wherein project management experience was required, because now on the digital marketing space, we have seen impact with the help of one product, and now we are trying to replicate the same in all the products. Yes.
So that's very interesting how you're building it, and you've seen promising results from the get-go.
Yes.
Okay. So that's very interesting.
Although the leads were not that exciting, but see, when you start and you start seeing the result, then only you replicate on the other products, and that is where we are heading right now.
Can I have a quick question?
Yes.
On one of your campaigns, you said you had billboards and you had a website link over there. When you present numbers, obviously they were successful, you said. Obviously, you looked at all the people who landed on the website. Did you notice that experience could have been different if you had put a QR code or other ways to reach you out?
See, obviously, frankly speaking, if you see a link versus you see a QR code, these are two different experiences.
Correct.
Whenever you see a log, if you see from a layman lens, okay, if you see a link, it says www.some/some/some/. So it's a very random characters, and people don't get comfortable when they are clicking on such links. Okay, no matter what you say, that even if you are accessing a website and there are links, you will not be comfortable in clicking on those links. However, QR has some confidence. Okay, so people get so we have not yet adopted the QR methodology as such, but QR brings in a bit of a confidence. Okay, what we did is we created a separate website for only home loan, and the objective was to bring the customers from all the sites onto this website. Then the journey will be started, and then we will take it over. Okay, so we were seeing that how many are at step 1, how many are step 2, how many are step 3, and in fact we understood the challenges as well, and we are redesigning the journey as well. We are changing the journey as well. We are taking the feedbacks as well. Okay, but yes, those QRs might be able to help, and we might try to introduce this time when we are changing the journey now.
That's great to hear. Reminds me of one of the campaigns that a digital product did. They splashed a QR code across a big football match in the US, and people scanned that app. But
You're referring to Coinbase ad.
correct, the Coinbase app. It's very popular, and we have analysis on our blog. But even in a very good journey that we design, if the tech doesn't support it, the numbers might look amazing, but from our lens, from being a tech product, we always see gaps, right? And that's where having a very good technology and enterprise technology to support your campaigns is, I think, something that's been rising in the industry. So even if there's an amazing campaign, it has to be backed by amazing tech. So that's what I would urge all of you to
totally agree
invest.
to this, because we have experienced this thing. we were aggressive on few of the products, few of the campaigns. Customer came in, then our app crashed. Okay. So all our efforts were in vain. So for example, when we measure the campaigns, the impact, and we give it to the digital team that this is what is happening with respect to the campaign. Okay, we were telling them that the numbers are shifting every day. They are going heavily every day. Then all of a sudden we saw a slump. Okay, then we called them what exactly is happening, and they said that there is a technical failure. Okay, now see, what I believe is, if I am reaching out to you, if you are a customer, okay, I made an effort to make you click on that link. Okay, and it's not easy to make a customer to click on a link. Okay, so if he is clicking and he falls in a trap wherein he is seeing a page which is not a proper page, or he is seeing a error, or there is some issue over there, okay, then we have lost the customer. He will never come back. He will believe that this company itself is a fraud. He can go to any extent to understand that this customer is not trustworthy, this company is not trustworthy. And these are the challenges with NBFCs only. People don't trust us in the first hand. We always get the second hand customer. Okay, the first hand goes to banks as well. Okay, so we are not getting very strong portfolios. So we can't take that risk. We can't lose even a single business opportunity. So I think technically we have been facing these challenges, and we have been aggressive in sorting out those challenges, but those things are still going on. In fact, because of those things, our app is going in a new version, and it will be launched in next 2 months, with all these challenges being taken care of.
That's great to hear.
So Nilesh, I really want to ask you, you are a digital first brand. App is the centerpiece, how you are engaging the SMEs, the merchants, the MSMEs, right? How are you funneling these customers to your app? Because this is a what do you call, audience which has traditionally engaged with newspapers, television, very highly engaged with those platforms. With digital, what are the channels that you see that are helping you really acquire the high quality users, and how are you driving again some of the things like SEO, paid and organic? How are you looking at that?
So, I mean, it's comparatively easy for us to acquire our customer for two reasons. Number one, I mean, our target audience is absolutely, that persona is fixed. Retailers we are talking about, right? So that clarity we have, so that we know where to find them. That's point number one. Point number two, the value proposition, if you see what we offer to our customers, I mean, the best value proposition works in the industry, any industry, is top priority. My offering helps you earn money. Number two, my offering helps you save money. And number three, my offering helps you save time or convenience piece, what we are talking about. I mean, these are the three value proposition I believe which works in the market, right? And we offer the first one. My app helps you earn money. So comparatively, it's easy to acquire our customers for us. The options what we really explore is, one, referral works very well for us. Number two, we scout for distributors. So there is an animal called as distributor in between, because any of the retail stores, they are getting their supplies or inventory from the distributors. So we get distributors to work and acquire for us. These are more of offline efforts, right? On digital space, you'll be surprised, or probably we all know, right? I mean, these people have moved from newspaper. I mean, TikTok was the app which has taken them digital, right? Most of the time you'll find retailers in their spare time using their mobile phones and watching reels on Instagram nowadays, right? So obviously for us also that became the channel, and we started working on that. So we do spend on digital marketing. We acquire retailers from digital channels, and then for tracking their progress, we already have certain mechanisms in place. In fact, we can discuss those things later on. We have also used branch in the past, and basis the conversion. And again, here if you see, one is acquisition of the customer on our application, and ours is a super app, right? There are so many services within the application. So for us, acquisition never stops. Even once we onboard customer onto our app, then for different services, we need to ensure that the adoption happens for different services. So the same retailer does multiple services so that he earns more and makes us earn more, right? So that's how the acquisition happens, and there are tools in place by which we do tracking and attribution. Of course, the influencer bit also we explore. I mean, you just search Pay Nearby on YouTube, you'll find thousands of videos created by our own retailers, right? Yeah, typically these have been our acquisition channels, and there are tracking mechanisms in place.
So, out of curiosity, you provide the entire payments infrastructure, financial infrastructure, not just for payments, but also for credit, for other aspects as well, right? For the
Yes,
merchants.
yes. So primarily, we work as a business correspondent for banks, wherein I mean, if I give you some stats, right? 7,000 towns, 3% of the land of this country, right? And 45% of population, which is urban India, what we call.
Yeah.
For this population, 78% of the ATMs and 72% branches are allocated to this minority, I would say, right? Rest all countries, 6 lakh villages, 65% of the population, they have just 22% and 28% bank branches and ATMs, right? I mean, nothing against banks, because again, they have to ensure the, commercial viability, right? So that's where we come into the picture. We appoint retail stores as our partner. We give them the app or the web interface, and through which they dispense banking services, like basic services like money withdrawal from bank account, right? Jandan happened. We have now 1,100 million bank accounts in the country, but the cards issued that time have expired, because those were max stripe card, now chip and pin. Jandan accounts are there, but people don't have the cards to withdraw the money. That's where we come into the picture. So we have AEPS, Aadhaar Enabled Payment System. The customer can just walk into the outlet, give his biometric and Aadhaar number, and our retailer gives cash to customer from his galla, right? It works well for a retailer also, because whatever money he gets, next day he has to go and deposit into the bank account. Now he doesn't need to do that. So that money gets rolled, and in the process they earn commission. Right. So that's one example I have given. Likewise, there are so many services. So that's what I said, right? Value proposition is my app helps you earn money.
Yeah. And you would say this space is fairly under-penetrated still?
I would say for banking services, it's fairly penetrated now. There are so many players like us working in the market, right? Government gives DBTs in bank account. We give DBT in hands of people, right? So from banking point of view, it's fairly covered, I would say. It has reached its maturity. But other segments like insurance, lending, lot more work needs to be done on ground.
Okay. Very, very interesting piece that you shared. Then I would like to switch the subject to an industry which is fairly well penetrated, right? Neeti, looking at banking, you're in new customer acquisition. How difficult it is to funnel quality new customers who it is not their second, third, fourth bank account with your bank, who are maybe it's their salary account, who are transacting, who are eligible for the other products of the bank. How hard is it getting to get those net new customers, and what are the channels that they are coming, that are really trustworthy and that they're coming from?
Sure. See, I think banking in India by now is fairly commoditized. And, recently we have seen a stiff competition and a very thorough endeavor between the players in this space to differentiate themselves by way of understanding, okay, what more do I provide if there's nothing substantially different that I can provide, then how do I differentiate my customer experience? How do I bring more value to the table, right? Now, I want to take a step back and, shift the focus to the channels of acquisition that you mentioned, right? And then come back to the core question that you asked. In India, currently, we have 18% of the global share of app downloads, which means if there are 100 apps getting downloaded worldwide, 18 of them are getting downloaded in India itself, right? Now that represents a huge number. And we are growing at 2x every year. So we are currently, the next competitor that we have is 2x behind us. What's very interesting to know is we are also world's leader in the rate of app uninstalls. So as quickly as the customers come in and install apps in India, they're as quick to uninstall them. Which brings us to a very basic point, that the challenge lies not only in acquiring users, but acquiring them via a channel which is cost effective for you and which serves a specific value to the user. Otherwise, you've pretty much initiated and incurred a cost in acquiring the user, and the user will very well become inactive and uninstall and move out. So that becomes a cost draining effort for you at the end of the day. In that scenario, there is no doubt that, so with that in mind, having app as an acquisition channel has to be a very conscious effort, is what we have seen and what we believe. That means that any other channel that we have as an option available to us, and you were recently just now referring to, SEO versus SEM efforts or any other organic channel for that matter. There has to be a very healthy mix between the channels that we employ. And, how do we position and play this channel mix to acquire a new customer versus deepen our penetration with an existing customer? That's where the real balance lies. So, for example, there may be different products. One, something like a savings bank account, which is usually an initiator of a sticky relationship. Usually if you have a savings bank account, down the line you might want to take a card, and then you might want to get into a lending relationship, and then eventually you're traveling, you want to take a forex, things pan out and you are able to deepen your relationship. So something like that, a user which makes you the primary bank for their savings account relationship, is of course top of the wish list for any player in that in the industry, right? And hence such a user is in high demand. Now the options that you have is, whether do I go and, for the sake of getting the customer on board, do I give a zero balance relationship, get them on board, and then try and invest efforts into building up that relationship? Or do I play safe, start off with some initial relationship value that not only makes business sense for me as a bank, but that also builds up a commitment from the customer's end, a more serious commitment in which they are willing to put in their time and effort, and then have a higher probability of it turning out to be a sticky relationship, right? So that's the balance that you play with. With that balance comes the channel. Now if you want, now who is the customer that you want, what is the kind of relationship you are wanting to develop into. But when it comes to the channel of acquisition, right, it's great to have a native journey on the app, and then you would want ideally that the new customer who so far has no relationship with you, would directly come over, discover you via through the Google search or through your paid ads, or you've created some brand recall in the past, they discover you, they download your app, they either download your app and then apply, or they apply and at the end of the process they download your app, because then you're creating a window to further deepen the relationship. That's an ideal wish list. However, that channel works in tandem with web journeys for acquisitions, where you acquire the customers and then eventually prompt a digital penetration via the app and then make inroads into the customer relationship. So yes, it is very, very challenging, but it's the mix of propositions and acquisition channels that help you navigate that difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely. I know banking player private banks have been cautious about allowing for opening of a savings account online because the quality of the user that you get over there is in question, and a lot of fraudulent users are there. In fact, I'd like to come to Prashant, I think, who would like to share about how kind of players can protect themselves from acquiring fraudulent users. What has been your experience in the number of fraudulent users that you have seen coming from digital channels? And I was speaking to a BFSI player who was saying they are trying to increase the friction in some cases of the user journey because they don't want to acquire that user, because it's not a high quality user for them. So how has been your experience in that part?
Uh, so most of the conversation which we had just now is majorly talking about the helicopter view of the digital marketing. My answer will be more in-depth digital marketing. I would like to answer that. So more from ad fraud perspective, I want to talk about that. So since, especially in today's world, since we all are growing, so all ad frauds are also growing, right? So you have to have a very good strategy for that. So there are multiple combinations to it, right? So you have to have a robust analytics, right? And then you have some specialized tools to handle that. I'm sure you will talk about that. And then your analytical strategy. So just not rely on the tool, and then these strategies also. I will give you one example. So whenever usually we run the campaign, this is just a random number, not exact numbers. Whenever we run the campaign, if I get 1,000 installs, I get 10% conversion. So 100 conversions, right? So randomly one fine day we run one campaign and we see 30% conversion. So with the same 1,000 installs, I'm getting 300 users, which is good, right? But in a way, if you see, it's suspicious as well. So you have to deep dive into the data. What's exactly, are these users are genuine users or not, right? Then what you look at is CTIT, right? You have to look at click to install ratio of these users. So usually SRNs you can compare this with the SRNs. SRN has a standard CTIT rules, CTITs, and you can compare it with that. You can also look at the geography. So if you're running a campaign for Indian geography, and if you're getting installs from Bangladesh or Singapore, that is suspicious again. Similarly, all these fraudsters most of the time will have your older version of your app. That's one of the important things which you can monitor. If you're getting a lot of in-app events from the older version, that's alarming. So you need to look at those users. Who are these users? Are they really doing the activities or not? And then these are the few things which you can look at. Apart from that, one more example I would like to give. So if you have 4 steps, right? The first is the upper funnel, and the fourth is the lowest funnel. And if you all of a sudden, if you see that you're getting 1,000 users, again the same example, 1,000 users, and then the last steps ideally should be around 100 users, right? But if you see the second last stage should be around 300 or 600, and then all of a sudden you see higher number than the upper funnel, then there is something fishy in that as well. So you can deep dive into that data also, why you're getting higher number of conversion. We have seen cases when it is very easy to spoof SDK events. You know that, right? But we have seen cases where people are spoofing S2S events as well, which is very difficult. And we have seen those kind of cases as well. And there are multiple ways that can be done, right? And so these are the few things which you can look at. And then, of course, opting for a good tool, sophisticated tool which can handle these kind of situation. But more importantly, I would say as a marketer, you should look at your data, raw reports, especially raw reports. Looking at just a dashboard does not suffice. You have to get into the data, see your raw reports, and understand in detail what exactly these users are doing. Especially one thing I can mention, D3 is the time you can look at the data, what these users are doing on day 3 or day 4. They can get installs, but what are they doing post that? So these are the few things which, as a marketer, you should take care of.
I'm very interested to understand, we're used to in marketing saying there's a top of the funnel and then X percentage of that is mid funnel, X percentage of that is this, right? And digital marketing has been able to make it more measurable and connect it with your business metrics, right? How do you said we see higher conversions in some cases, lower in some cases. How do you benchmark that? Because you are a leading bank, not few banks in the same space as you. How do you benchmark higher and lower? Because we are used to saying that okay, email certain 1% or 10% something conversions are there. How do you benchmark it on a mobile app where everybody is kind of still in the journey, right? It's not a mature journey, so to say.
Yeah, so as she rightly mentioned, we are one of the pioneer in digital banking. So we have more than 7-8 years of experience in digital banking, especially in app, right? We were one of the first one to start the app marketing. And so with this experience, we know which channel exactly works for us, right? We are, in fact, in the industry, we are one of them who, we are somebody who doesn't believe only on SRN, which are Google and Facebook. We also explore affiliates. We also explore programmatic channel. I'm sure most of the people as a marketer, you want to safeguard yourself and stay away from affiliates, but we don't do that. We want to explore that channel as well. So that is where the benchmarking comes into the picture. If you're running a Google campaign, you know that ideal scenario, this should be, the, for example, 5%. Then Facebook will be lower for sure. And affiliate will be further more lower. You'll have to benchmark that basis this with the kind of a campaign you run. And then basis that you can decide that.
Can I just add something on that?
I was coming to you only, but please
Okay,
add. No, please add.
So one of the things is that there are two things I'd like to add. One is when it comes to benchmarking, you can also do like a because of app journeys and then the attribution model, like you are using some XYZ tools, you do have like say using app tweak is one of the tools that you get like the competition benchmark of your similar categories and similar apps as well. So like similar 4 other my competitor apps, what is their app installed to registration, registration to KYC, KYC to bank verification, what's the percentage? So you get a sense check of like what's the organic conversion funnel percentage versus the paid for them, and then where do you stand vis-a-vis them, along with your own analysis which is there for your platform, like where you kind of set benchmarks based on the multiple mixes of channels that you're utilizing.
Right.
That's one. And the second thing I was just, he mentioned about like fraudulent app transactions, like, app acquisitions that happen. I think one more thing that one needs to be like very careful now is because I think India and, like for us, we do have like audience or like say affiliates, like so much jugaad mentality that it is hard to a tool level also to track that what all possibilities can occur. So, for instance, like I'll give you an example that KYC verification, which is based on like which is through DigiLocker or like manual through Aadhaar and PAN number and everything, that can also be fraudulent. 2 scenarios. One is like Rohit Kumar could be a common name. This is based on my experience because I used to work with Civil and I've seen that in many banks' database, and that happens. That is one. But 2 is also that through fake installs and fake KYCs that can happen. So looking at your own app behavior, users' behavior on the app based coming from paid channels as to if somebody is doing the KYC verification, post KYC is XYZ user like transacting on your platform, or how is the interaction on your platform for like 10 days, 15 days, because their rating can be justified for 15 days if the app is there in the mobile, in the user's phone. So that can still stay relevant in multiple other apps. But if that user is just a dormant user, or like there is a particular behavior wherein somebody is doing the like there are maybe like 500 users coming from an A publisher, all are doing the KYC verifications, all are depositing like 500 rupees, but post that all are withdrawing like say 500 rupees.
Okay.
So somebody has delivered you a cost per deposit ka user, but that user is essentially a dormant user and like a ineffective user. So you need to kind of get into that level of say analytics when it comes to acquiring users along with the
But I think this is fantastic. So this goes to our customer engagement question, right? If even your PAN and Aadhaar is not a sacrosanct data point, right? And within your 15 or 30-day time frame, your user is not transacting, is not acting up. How do you look at the customer engagement piece? And Neha, if you could only start with that, because I know of brokerages, they have made onboarding really easy. They used to charge a onboarding fee, even that all of them, if not most of them, have gotten rid of, right? It's a boom time also for the markets, and a lot of people are opening accounts. How do you ensure that the CLV of your user is growing over a period of time and it's not a dormant and inactive user, because there's a technology cost, there is a cost of maintaining, I think, that account even if the user is not paying anything.
Absolutely.
Right?
So at a business level, cost of maintaining a user is, I mean, along with your marketing cost and everything, there's a cost that goes into re-KYC and all of that. So you really need to ensure that you need to kind of decide that how many do you really want to activate as well if they're not going to be effectively active in the long run, because AML also takes in a lot of cost because your AML is valid only for 18 months. Having said that, to kind of re-engage with the users, for my business or my app per se, it's slightly more tricky because it's not an all-weather business. Crypto cycle is not like, you know, every year, like, or if like it's seasonal. It's 3.5 years market. So you have only niche population like investing or active on your platform throughout the year as such. So we've seen that one is that offers, especially in India, offers really work. So be it like referrals, be it like, so we run like a lot of trading challenges. So you have like leaderboards as to, okay, if you trade for XYZ, you get like, say maybe a rebate in your brokerage, or if you trade for something, so it can go like a lucky draw. So you can win like a MacBook or you can win like an iPhone. So that really like people go in. And that depends into different cohorts of users. So for high value traders will want to take their chance when it comes to rebates into their trading offers. There is mid segment who will want to participate when there's like a high value incentive that we are providing, which I spoke about MacBook and everything. But otherwise, there's the mass user base who really converts on like say 50 rupees cashback, 100 rupees cashback. So the point here is that we are like, India is a value-based user, right? So it doesn't matter that, you know, overall value, like it's that I think psychological satisfaction that you get when you kind of get something in return or you get incentivized. So that is one. Two, we've seen like serious users converting through a lot of communication in terms of industry related. So sending them, like we at times, who would be reading these reports? But it was very surprising to us that people have come like, if a newsletter doesn't go on Friday, we've seen people raising a query, which is so surprising that you don't think at times, oh, people are really like, are they, I mean, at times you really look at my open rates, are people even like, you know, consuming that content? But we've seen that content does play a major role, and I think emailers per se, because it kind of, it doesn't disturb your day-to-day activity, right? And third is we've seen like notifications. So being into like, because it's a brokerage platform and there are like more than 150 crypto assets on the app, price alerts, for instance, just the basic information, like, you know, I mean, ETH has gone down by 25%. It is actually my most high driving conversion, like DAUs, most of the DAUs come from push notifications. Personally, I find them so annoying, but I've seen that, you know, because so many apps, I mean, you just register and you're like, okay, how many? But I've seen that that kind of drives it. There is no, I would say there is, I've been trying to find the answer that how many notifications are okay to be sent in a day. There's no answer. ICICI Bank sends 5 to 6 notifications from like 8 to 1 o'clock because I've been observing. But it, I mean, I do see the value because I've seen for my business, it really kind of works. It works in a way wherein people are coming and successfully transacting. So and third is like the combo communication which you kind of offer, wherein you kind of tell them that, okay, you take this, like, you know, you buy say exchange, something on exchange plus crypto pack, and then you could get some better service or like a priority service or something which is exclusive. So that is something which is kind of is working for users as well, wherein they feel that, okay, I am part of their inner circle. So that exclusivity, that feeling, I think that what you make the user feel special a little bit, that also for certain category of users that works for them.
Can I? Sorry, please go ahead.
Neha, my question on this piece would be, it was interesting to know that a lot of organic channels are being used for engagement, right? Your own channels like push notifications or emails, etc. What is the split today between how you're deploying paid ads for users who've installed the app already versus any other marketing channel you're
So
using?
yes, actually a good point. So this is what I spoke about is completely organic that we are driving, but otherwise inorganic we do a lot of a limited, I would say, retargeting to the users who are coming through push channels, or even my existing users who are targeting them on Meta. So through, like, if somebody is dormant, we are targeting them through Facebook right now to kind of re-engage with the app. Secondly, direct acquisition channels which are like coming, and wherein we are seeing that people are dropping at, say, somebody's KYC verified but has not done their bank verification, or has bank verified but has not deposited any money in the wallet. So we are retargeting them through paid channels directly.
Um, I'm very sensitive on the push notifications. So curious to also understand, what is the right number. But do you have tools which tells you, these are the set of customers who don't like push notifications, and these are the customers who like push notifications? Anything of those sort you have? Because I am one of those people, when the first notification I get, I suddenly dislike the app. I'll either uninstall it or I'll at least mute the notifications. But I understand the larger audience probably is still very um, easy to attract through clickbait, right? How do you sort of balance the users? Do you have any thought process on that?
So, see, one of the tools like wherein notifications are concerned, so the likes of Mo Engage, Web Engage, and all that, you get to see what's the user behavior like. Who's your user? Who's like, one is through push notification that also limits your reach, right? But it also gives you the instant conversion. So you kind of target those users who are highly active on notifications. But emailers is global, like everybody kind of reads or kind of converts at one
Blast,
point
yeah.
of time. But notifications, depending on, like, say, how many times have you seen it, or it gives you certain metrics in these apps as to, X many notifications can be sent to these 80 lakhs users, or X many notifications, certain types of notifications can be like, are certain users prefer like more, click more on, say, price alerts. I know, like, if a product announcement or a price alert, or like a some like trading challenge or some championship or something like that gets more conversion as to if I'm promoting a blog, because the value is more. So you get that analysis in your like, say, or these or Martech tools.
That's great. Because obviously we're also competing with each other, not just in this room, but every other app who's sending you a push notification. Obviously, you are inclined to think that I should also send one. Uh, so it's something that I hope we find an answer to soon. But I agree, I don't think there's an answer today as to how many notifications there has to go. But I work with Mo Engage, Web Engage. I'll try to see what they're thinking in these terms, because it's something I think should be solved. We need
It's
less and
actually
important notifications.
there are, so this is getting solved at the app level itself. So you can't, if you've unsubscribed to a notification, at the most an app can ask you twice. If you clicked on that X, like at the top, then they will have to, like, they can't
can't
ask
send
you
you.
for more than 60 days. Post that, you have to go into their notification box and subscribe. So a lot, many, like, say, a lot of OEMs, which is like Oppo, Vivo, which is generally like 65% of Indian users are on these handsets. They kind of kill your notifications on their own to kind of save certain battery usage or multiple other, like, tech issues in their apps. So having said that, like, there are push notification, it's one of the best channels to kind of reach out, but it also comes with a lot of limitations. And like, how can that is one of the challenges when it comes to reaching out to users to kind of reactivate, that you can only ask the user to subscribe to your notification, the
The first
handset,
time.
like, yeah, more Android 12 plus, you can just ask twice. So only if you have, like, who's on Android 10, or somebody who's using only for, to them, you can like ask them, okay, subscribe like n number of times. So that again comes with a lot of challenges. So
That's great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting how apps that you keep on your phone, on the long term, how are they going to engage you? Because I am sick of all notifications. I have turned off everything except for WhatsApp because it's work, and I don't like getting any notifications whatsoever. Welcome, Dhanashri. Would love to hear a little bit about your background. Obviously, we all know your company, but if you could just share your role at the organization, and then we can proceed with the question as well.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start because we've spoken a lot about acquisition and onboarding, and through that, I'll try to explain my role as well.
Yeah.
So when I joined RBL, the whole idea was to build a digital platform, bring in as many products digitally. The thing that, some of the things that we spoke about acquisition, we've gone through that entire cycle, right? Of, like identity frauds or working through mule accounts, creating. So at the same time, while you're creating a completely seamless journey, whether it be for savings account, so we've launched the first standalone fixed deposit product. You don't need a savings account. You can just open a fixed deposit. We've also launched one of the, I think with Axis, we've launched the first subscription-based savings account, which is Go account. So you pay like a joining fee, and thereafter, it's a zero balance free account with a lot of goodies. All that actually came from two things, right? Like a lot of us spoke about insights. The first insight that came from obviously our consumers, which was, when you talk about a savings or any liabilities product today, right? If I want to open an account, many of us, right, we would have opened our account because maybe we, if we are in corporate, they would have said that, because the salary will come from this bank, so you will be given an option of 3 accounts and you will pick up one, right? Or your parents would say that, beta, mera ye bank mein account tha, I've opened a minor account for you, and that's how the journey begins, right? It's either through a very strong referral. It could be your parent or it could be a company that you come from. When it came to RBL, typically RBL was like a secondary account, right? The customer would have like an ICICI or Axis or Kotak or whichever, like, HDFC or ICICI largely, or SBI, if it's a tier 2, 3, 4 city. So then how do you make it a more primary account? And so that comes from trust, right? And when we started with our digital journey, what we realized is that a certain bit of hand-holding is also required. So we did have a web journey, we did have an app journey. Within that, what we realized that even though the customer is opening, the account, and it was completely Aadhaar, Aadhaar OTP journey with video KYC, there's certain bit of consumer understanding that had to be built, which we did through our onboarding, and we also had initially a lot of our contact center channels interacting with the consumer to resolve the query. So while it was a completely digital STP journey, we did face a lot of customer drop-off. So the retargeting mechanism was something that we built. Their app plays a very important app. It's far more easier because it's simple installation for the customer. Secondly, like she rightly mentioned, that you can throw in a lot of notifications. When you build a web journey, it's not very easy, right? And the notifications are also not very user-friendly. But when it comes to an app, you can actually reconnect. Oh, you missed this last step. You're just like 2 minutes away from your account opening journey, or 1 step away from your account opening journey, or from getting a credit card. If you're bundling up a product. So that was some of the learnings that we got, was to how to build the trust and how to communicate your product offering and how to also communicate the digital journey. Because a lot of customers feel that, while we are all in this industry, we know that, 15 minute mein account khul jayega, 15 minute mein loan mil jayega. But for the customer, he's exploring you, right? He's going through that entire mechanism of understanding. So when it comes to lending products, what we realized is that there is a need, right? He wants the fastest loan. So it's like how fast you are or how low you are, right, in your pricing. So those were the things. So a lot of those learnings we brought in when we got our acquisition. And the other piece that we spoke about of fraud, yes, we built an internal tool, which is a DigiCatch fraud tool. We did a lot of, when was the email ID created? How active is that person on social media? Or is this ID linked to a social media, or this mobile number linked? We worked a lot on those things because besides that, also within our video KYC, we did have a min KYC account. We've consciously moved away from that as a business call. We are focusing more on full KYC accounts. And that also helps engagement, because the moment your acquisition and onboarding is sorted, your engagement also then is like, how do I put it? It's like, your consumer segment, your cohorts. So that is what. So this is what has been my journey so far. We've built in liabilities products. We are one of the top 5 credit card players in the market. So cards is our strength. We leverage that. And see, card is also in India, even today, we speak about UPI. But when it comes to higher spends, right? When it comes to restaurant spends, whenever it's like a discretionary happy spend, we need that credit card. And we are still a very underpenetrated country. So a lot of those insights also came with that helped us with. So we work in terms of consumer insights, in terms of how we pitch products to that cohort in a way, and we've used a combination. So we have, being a mid-sector bank, our budgets are fairly frugal. We don't have very large budgets, so we work around with that. We've also explored WhatsApp as a channel for us for engagement. See, over a period of time, you can also see that, like earlier, we used to check our SMSs, right? We used to check our emails. But there's a certain fatigue that comes, right? I mean, very rarely now we really go through all our SMSs, right? We might check our emails still. We are more active on WhatsApp. So that's what we realized. So we've, over a period of time, also explored other channels. While you cannot have a PII journey on a WhatsApp, but we are using it very effectively as an engagement tool and then doing campaigns around that also. So I've kind of like introduced myself and blended a lot of things that happened earlier.
No,
on.
absolutely. My bank, I don't know why, because I've turned notifications off. My bank really doesn't try to sell me, upsell me or anything. But every other bank is trying to sell me loans, credit cards, on ground, on SMS, or not WhatsApp yet, but I think that's expensive. Yeah, that's the thing, right? And my bank doesn't try to do any of that because I don't know why. But I think there's also tiers, right? Where you know who is the customer. In the early days of opening my account, I used to get calls. They used to tell me, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I think they got a clue eventually that I was not doing anything, so they stopped calling me, right? But Avinash, would love to know from your side, how do you look at personalization? Because you're in the, what do you call, value added cashbacks.
So sorry, I'm from Axis Bank, first of all.
Oh, you're from
I'm a
Axis.
counterpart for the Niti, you can say. She's
Okay.
from the marketing, I'm from the product.
Oh, okay. I thought I
Yeah,
was.
Free Charge is the
my
subsidiary
bank.
of Axis Bank.
Axis-
And
okay, Free
we
Charge
are
is
the
subsidiary.
product for the Axis Bank now.
Product.
Okay. See, if I drop down today's issues, no, it's like this. The customers which are coming new, or you can say the Gen Z and Alpha for us, customers who's actually finding these solutions. They already know what banking is or what BFSI industry does. And third would be customers who doesn't know what they need actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bottom to up, I will go. Customer who doesn't know what, because for example, SSME places, a big problem. They have a CASA, but how to get credit, they're not aware. They're still looking for a term loan. They don't know how to get OD. And somewhere down the line, Axis Bank is trying to solve that problem. Okay, we tried to have an open bank systems. Recently, we just launched quick overdraft systems. Then we are also trying to solve the around problems of this SME. Okay, there are various things which with the retail customer also in similar way, like they want to do a banking. They could be an Axis Bank as a primary bank, but they don't know how to get serviced. And they are still believe in a brick and mortar system of the banking system that, okay, if you have a more number of branches, that means you have a better banking section for you. Okay, but that is not true anymore, because if people, and actually where the branch can actually help out the banking system, I would say, because still people are not aware that how, or they don't have a knowledge how to use a proper mobile banking system in India. Yeah. Because there's so many things. UX are still not very well for most of the bank. They are still struggling with it. People are trying to solve, even we are also trying to solve those UX issues. And people don't know, if I need to have a checkbook, I might need to go X, Y, Z places, and then only I will be aware that, okay, I can get the checkbook from here itself. Okay. Convenience comes to picture over here. Okay. Definitely every bank want to serve top 1% or 2% of the community in India, because the money lies there for them ultimately. And but their problem is solved because they all generally have their own RMs or a personal banker for them. Okay, but what about the people, those who are actually in the category of, I would say 10 lakh to 50 lakh? Okay, untapped. A lot of companies are trying to build their own PMS systems for them, or you can say a tracking system for them, where they can offer, okay, you can track your net worth over here altogether. Yeah. But still unexplored, and I think over here the data-driven will come into the picture, where actually, as you said, a QR, is a place, okay, why can't an Axis Bank also, or any kind of bank actually go and put a QR code on a statement itself, okay, you are buying, you have just paid on a restaurant bill over here, why don't you have an Axis Magnus card or Olympus card, which we just launched, which will have a better offering on the restaurants for you. Now coming to the Gen Z. That's one of the most difficult customers on a today date because they look only for the convenience. Okay, might be possible if I want to invest money wherever I want to do, whether it's a gold or whether it is a stock or anywhere else, I will try to do my own research. But Gen Z doesn't want to do that. They look for the convenience. They want, okay, I have the proper suggestions given to me and my things will be handled over there itself. Again, now Gen Z have a totally different needs. They don't believe in a proper mobile banking system, and I think so that is the biggest reason, because when we open a lot of salary accounts, they get downloaded and then they got deleted as fast itself. But how can we engage our users over there? What kind of campaign we can run? So when we started having this digital banking saving accounts, we ran a campaign with the 5% cashback offer. I think you guys must be aware that if you go via our affinity mode called Grab Deals, you get additional 5% cashback on this big bank sales and other things. But still, I think when it comes to banking, there are so many different applications. Someone is going from Axis Bank mobile banking, someone is going from the Grab Deal, someone is having Access Securities as a totally different brand altogether. And till the time this whole ecosystem cannot be combined together, it is a very difficult proposition where actually get that account become a primary bank account for the customer.
Right.
So
one of the things that Neha touched upon was how behavioral signals can also be used,
yes.
right? Because
So Neha, we recently built our own fraud model, where definitely whatever Prashant covered up and you covered up, that was a part of it. But we also tried to recognize what kind of PIN codes people are using. What kind of places we generally find, okay, Bihar is one of the most notorious places for opening a fraudulent account altogether. And definitely you cannot say no to the customer on the face, because that's, as per the BFSI, that is not allowed. So we generally ask them to, okay, kindly visit the branch and do these activities. Because when a digital banking system came, definitely, I won't agree to your first statement. You said that we don't want to open an account. We want to open an account as a digital phase.
even
okay?
if it's a second
Yes.
or a third account.
But whether it's a second or third, because ultimately, our struggle is that how much cash rich we can become altogether. That the more cash rich we have become, the more lending I can do.
Lending.
So, and lending space is still untapped. It's totally untapped. Micro lending is, nothing has happened in India till now. Okay. So when it comes to this part, my issue is currently also we can say we are trying to become a digital or so-called digital. I quote an example for you. Last year we sourced almost 7 lakh accounts, saving accounts via digital space. But when I go more deep down, I found 1.5 accounts were only D2C, rest were D2B. Definitely we have to drill down more now, becoming more D2C, because that's more cost effective for us. Definitely cross-selling becomes more easy. Definitely when saving max comes account, the stickiness increases a lot. I can offer different things for him. He can have my own credit card. I can offer my PL, cash advance, and lot many things. So this is a problem statement in which our digital marketing can help us a lot.
So tell me something. I don't see anybody except for the very new age BFSI brands really investing in a channel like OTT, CTV, all of that, which is very measurable and all of which has that journey linked. Do you think that would then be a bigger part of your marketing going forward, because it's harder to now reach through performance or through digital marketing?
So I just want to answer that. So Neo, which is a Neo Bank, NIYO, they did a very good job there, where they actually had tied up with Disney a few years back. You know, when Disney was really big in India, they used that channel really well for their travel card. So it was in line with the segment that, the target segment that they were doing, and it did work. It did work really well for them. So it depends on what is your user segment. Is that user segment right there on that platform? Right. And what is it that you're really pitching? So it all drive.
So probably for the banks, that user is already your customer at some level, and you're looking even beyond that.
Definitely. So see, definitely now the problem statement comes. if I have a very good data-driven uh, analysis with me, and if I know that, okay, Varun is a traveler, I wouldn't like him to go to Neo.
Yeah.
I would like to, okay, use my own Forex card, but that is not happening as of current now. Because even if I have a data, it is so stagnant that I'm not able to compute it properly. Or if I'm computing it properly, I don't have a proper channel how to target them immediately. Because bank is a totally big division. Every person is working on a different silos versions altogether. A single campaign can actually help them out.
Very interesting. Komal, now I think we can really talk about the customer experience aspect of it, right? And I think Kashi puts a lot of premium, being a digital first player, on the app experience and delivering that end to end within the app itself, right? How do you look at the complexity of the customer issues on the app, and how do you kind of focus on resolving it in app, or you know, maybe outside of the app, because some of these conversations happen outside of the app? How do you look at that aspect of the journey? Right. Yeah. This is very interesting. It's also a regulated industry. I don't know how much it affects you, but when there are some changes in interest rates or some regulatory changes that happen from time to time, do you get like that influx of queries that come to you? You know.
less than 50,000 loan is a stressful market, right? We've actually gone ahead and given inputs to our own customers because we were doing a loan of from 1,000 rupees onwards, right? And when it came back saying that, this market is stressful, we went back to the customer because then we had to also, pause that segment of giving loans for that particular amount. We went back to the customer and said that, like, hey, look, we are going to, pause at this point of time, but you can reapply with a higher amount. What could be, the new policy changes around it. So all this information definitely is being timely given to the customer via email, SMS, probably WhatsApp is become a very efficient channel. It's expensive, no doubt about it. But customer reach out is also very good at that channel.
Interesting. I know I wanted to understand how are you looking at driving seamless experiences. So let me say some of you guys have a website, an app, any other platform, maybe I'm missing a social media presence, all of that, right? And your customer is trying to look for certain information, which I find most apps try to keep the user journey very simple. It's very functional. You want to look at your statement, you want to look at this. But if you want to look at maybe your credit card interest rate or something like that, maybe the journey will go to a desktop, right? Or maybe if you want to issue a credit card and you want some of the details, maybe for the user, he will type, I prefer to go. So I just wanted to know how you're looking at the intent over there across your different platforms and bringing it back to your mobile. I think Avinash really has something to say.
So no, what's happening now, this generative AI is actually changing the scope altogether.
What is changing the scope?
Generative
AI.
okay. So till now, everything was based on ML or something like that. Now, actually, most of the banks, whether it is SDFC and Axis, I know, they all are investing on these parts. Okay, where the customer is not, even I think Kia has also done the same thing in Kotak, yes, they have already done it. Where actually the game will change. People will not worry that, okay, I have to go to the application and find my answers. They might even find it on a WhatsApp itself by typing, okay, what is my current interest rate or what was my last spend altogether. So this will be another game changer.
A lot many things, if I may interject, like, a couple of things which you said, like, how does it like, say there is like, we have like a web app and we have an app while we are very much like app first. But I know like certain things which you said that, okay, for certain requirements, a user might have to go on the web app, or certain requirements, a user might have to go inside the app and deliver it. There's one thing also, like internally, I think a lot many companies, while everything can happen today, like we can reach the moon also, but a lot many things depend on the tech team as to when can they deliver certain things. So those are also very big. I mean, those challenges that I might want to offer everywhere, but that might come in phase 4, which will be 2025 March or April.
But correct
that
me if
also
I'm wrong. A lot of the app first players look at keeping that user journey very simple because they want that user to do 1, 2, 3 journeys get started
So
depending on the life
I'll
cycle.
add to it. See, for a seamless journey,
Yeah.
as Avinash said, that convenience is the most important factor. Okay, so there are two factors which drives a seamless journey. First, how many clicks a customer is doing. Okay, so if there are too many clicks, it's a painful journey. If there are less clicks, it's a smooth journey because they want to end that journey as soon as possible. Secondly, how much of the information is either pre-populated or is not there. Okay, because if in case a customer has to enter, he is not going to enter. We have seen this thing practically, that wherein we have given the text boxes, we are not getting the information. But if in case those informations are pre-filled, then the customer is happy that I don't need to, he will just be validating and will be going away. Okay, so that is the smoothest journey.
Correct.
Now, how can we achieve it? There are various ways. See, all these things, specifically the pre-filled things, has to be backed up by the data. Okay, because if there is not enough data, you will not be able to give the right information, and trust me, if the information there is wrong, then it is more painful journey. Okay, then there are higher chances customer or will break the journey and will go away.
Right.
Okay, so so that pre-filled has to be attained with the help of the data. So data enrichment becomes a very important activity there for every industry. Okay, in fact, frankly speaking, we are doing a lot of efforts in making that data enriched so that we know about the customer as much as possible, so that we are asking as less questions as possible. Okay, generative AI is there. Generative AI, so we are also trying to build certain chatbots driven by the Gen AI, which will help this in this problem. But once again, we need to understand that Gen AI tries to answer the give the correct answers to the question. But the problem with the customer is they don't want to ask the questions as well. Okay, so once again, it comes to the conclusion: three as less steps as possible, and the information has to be pre-filled. These two factors drives the seamless journey. If in case we are able to achieve this, the journeys are going to be successful.
So I'll just like to add on to it. First thing, I beg to differ that less clicks is better user experience. That's not the case in my opinion. It depends on. For example, if you want to have a survey of 5 questions, I would prefer more clicks, right? I would like to give one question on one page to be that survey to be more effective. So I beg to differ on that point. Second thing, I absolutely agree on pre-filled information and maybe something to add on CRM as well. I mean, since being in the financial transaction, we do face issues on transactions, right? Now, the kind of a journey what we have built, when we started, it was all call center, right? Now, our 92% complaints comes from app. Call center are not reached. Why? We made it so easy and pre-filled. The only thing what you have to do is the page where you have stuck, just take a screenshot, your photo comes, the screenshot comes, and that's where one action button comes, raise complaint. That's it, right? And since this is happening from our app, we know where he got stuck up, which service, which transaction, what's the status, everything. I mean, that information comes from the backend, right? So raising complaint, we have made it so easy. Just take a screenshot and action button is raise complaint. Everything is, I mean, in fact, it's not pre-filled also. Nothing is shown there, but the work gets done. So that kind of a seamless journey would really change the game. That's what I believe.
Agree. I think that's where seamlessness can really be achieved not by the virtue of design and technology alone. It's a lot of data support. So if it's your own customer, the customer is on the app, you have your CRM data supporting you, you have API integrations running for you, then that's where seamlessness actually comes into play for the customer to experience it.
One more thing what we implemented, right? People say reduce the ticket, we increase the tickets at CRM. So what we do is, if the transaction fails, we know it has failed, right? We auto-generate the ticket. On the screen, retailer gets to see, okay, the complaint has been already raised by the system. So it doesn't bother to call us up, right? So we increase number of tickets, which is auto-generate tickets, and then we do auto-close also. So that's how we have been able to give better experience and optimize cost as well.
I would like to add one acquisition angle to this pre-filled parameter. Since we are one of the aggressive in acquisition, what we have done is working with few prominent partner. So who is already into the app and using the app, he has filled in all the details. So when he's coming to our journey, everything's pre-filled. That will be very convenient for the users. And max 2-3 steps, his account is ready. So pre-filled is really interesting, and that works for us also. We have tried it before, and it is very helpful.
Just one aspect to that I want to add. See, we built an entire customer data platform that was a objective of having a pre-filled information so that the customer does not have to enter anything again and just quickly get the product that he wants. So I'm talking about sales first, and then I'll come to service. What we realized is, because a large part of our consumer base was Gen Z, early millennial, late millennials. We do have in India, right, a migratory population, in the sense people shift cities, they work in, rentals, communication address, because, some of the products which we had to pitch, we had to reconfirm the address. and you have to then do a re-KYC for certain products, right? And then again, it goes back to a video KYC. So while the technology was in place, the data was in place, there were some ground realities that we came across, that in terms of, the user also goes through a certain, through a life cycle, right? And then how do you adopt to that, so that you offer him a more seamless journey. So that was our experience where I felt that the tech was there, but probably our experiences were not that right. Other is when he spoke about Gen AI also, I feel yes, service is a very big aspect that banks can really improve upon, and which he highlighted. Typically in a banking setup, what happens is when we talk about newer technologies, they always go towards sales first, not so much of service first. But I think if you solve for service first, the sales will follow. So that is, I think, a lot of things can happen. A lot of simplicity can come into, a lot of comfort also can come to the user in terms of his banking without going to a branch or calling up a contact center and waiting for 1 hour.
I can share a perspective from a technology company. Obviously, we adopt AI probably at a slightly faster rate. What we have done at our company is, obviously you can go to a Google AI or a chat at Open or ChatGPT, right, to search for something. But the way we have all built our systems today, we protect our own data. The amount of data you have about how your systems work, Google will never have that, because you're not exposing those tickets that you have internally to it. So what we have done is, we have adopted a product in the AI space, trained that AI product with all our information, all our tickets, and now all our customers basically have a Slack channel. If they use Slack, or a Teams, if they have Teams, they could write into us, and the AI typically within seconds gives you a complete answer of what you're looking for. So I think that's something that we are seeing getting adopted at our side, and that would come to every other sector, because AI is only as good as how you train it, right? Because the general AI that's available on Google or other things, they don't have access to your data, to your customer queries, to your CRM information, right? So I think that's definitely the AI will basically solve for all the diversity that is there in today's ecosystem. You have app, web, multiple other things. AI could be a solution if it's adopted well, and I'm sure you guys are thinking on similar
Banks
lines.
are getting smart in this part.
Yeah.
So even we are having our own AI systems. We collaborate with AWS Bedrock, a
Yes.
kind of server which you can understand. So banks have started building their own because they know they cannot expose the data.
So
But-
I have sorry, you had a
No.
you continue. You had
No, nothing. Please go.
No, so I had one perspective on this is all of you have multiple products, and I think many of you would agree that not all your users may be aware of all your products. And also they are in a journey where they are, a lot of them don't know what they want at a given point in time. For you, this might be a perfect user for a credit card or a loan, ready. But for that user, he's not reached that stage in the life cycle, right? And that creates the opportunity for a lot of other competitors to give them, like you said, Neo would come in. You would want your bank's, what do you call, Forex card to be issued. But another competitor can come in at that stage. If their brand campaign has been recently in the consumer mind, they'd go to. So like I said, AI and all these chatbots and all, these are still pull channels. How are you looking at intervening at that moment where a lot of intent is being created on the web? Even for me, a lot of intent for banking products and all, I don't know all the products obviously that my bank has. I'm sure it has many. I may not always be the first one to ask my bank, what all are you offering this? I may ask Google, right? So then in that case, how do you capture that intent and bring that journey back to the app is something, if any of you solved, especially in the context of, I don't know where we are in terms of the privacy landscape, because Google has wishy-washed back and forth for many years, right? Apple users are very less in this country, I don't think relevant. So where are we in terms of doing this while keeping in mind the privacy context?
So still we are on a very basic stage. If I talk about Axis Bank, so I just take an example of IL, instant loan. Okay, so we found, okay, credit card is one of the most visited page for us, and we started promoting the IL from there itself. Helped a lot. We jumped almost 70x till now. But yes, for other products, no. I think a digital campaign is That's what I said. We need to have.
So your conversions were commensurate with the
Yes,
traffic you were
yes,
getting.
yes, yes.
Anybody else has a point of view on that? If you have multiple products, maybe Nilesh, maybe Neha, if you have.
This is from my previous experience, like prior to Zeppe, when we were doing like Sibyl. I was
Little louder,
working
sorry.
with I was working with TransUnion Sibyl before Zeppe. So this particular experience, when you're saying that if like a counter product has been offered, I think that's like it's a mix. One is obviously like marketing can help resolve or more communication, and 50% is also like there are a few not widely used but products which kind of track this behavior. So if you've searched or inquired, say for a home loan, say at ICICI Bank, and then you would say that, okay, all of a sudden maybe HDFC Access is giving me a call. It's because that inquiry it's triggered, and then there are like, say there is a product called Triggers at Sibyl, which is consumed by most of the banks to kind of track the loan behavior. So you get to know that, okay, if you've like if there's an inquiry on your account, then they get to know that, okay, this is a high intent lead. So that's how you also at your end get to kind of vet 2-3 loan offers, and bank also kind of tries to convert on a higher intent lead. That's one. And there are certain related products and all that, but those are more like, say, tech driven or a product driven conversations. Another 50% is like also kind of getting stats or like retargeting users based on their search. So I can through say Bobble AI for that matter, if you are searching for Bitcoin or through appography, like if I can track like what kind of apps do you have, like if you've recently downloaded, which are the apps that you've like, or the categories of app that you've downloaded in the last 3 months, I can target based on that as well through marketing. And then I know that, okay, if you are like if you've downloaded something related to broking app or like any finance tracker, or if you've searched for like related terms, investments, demat, like anything around this, like mutual funds for that matter. So based on these keywords, like how for SEO you have certain keywords, so I can create these keywords, and through these the likes of Bobble and affinity targeting, I can, and ampographic combined together, I can reach to these high intent users. So if you've searched for these, I know that you're looking or you're in that zone. So it's
In fact, there are a lot of OEMs who offer this kind of sophisticated
OEMs
solutions,
also.
which will give
OEMs
you
also.
intent, and you can just show the ad directly to the user who's looking for home loan or credit card. That's quite easy nowadays. Yeah.
So what we are looking at is a partnership, probably ecosystem
Yeah.
of tying the journey back from different. This is very interesting. I think that's all the conversation that's coming to my mind. I don't know if anybody from the branch team wants to ask some questions. It's been, I think, 1.5 hours. I'd like to wrap it up here and take this conversation, more candid offline. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Hope you guys got something from one another. Maybe if not the opportunities, maybe the challenges still remain in BFSI sector, but it was lovely to hear all your views.
Thank you, and
thank
Ravina,
you.
it was a very useful presentation. It did help, like the web to app and the scan code. It like certain information about mapping the entire journey. It was good to know information for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
everyone.
Thank you.